working in LTC long-term care, I was adjusting a foot pedal on a resident wheelchair when they decided to kick at me. It was enough force for their diabetic gangrenous big toe to fall into my shoes. Oh my god. That's a karma for you, bitch. Hey besties, it's your favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated nurse, Nurse John, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. I beg your pardon, bestie. How are you doing? I miss you. We're back for another week of therapy session with your favorite bestie, Nurse John. You guys, am I the only one that feels like February went so quicker than January? January felt like a whole year, and February felt like a one whole week. I don't know. But yes, oh my God, I miss you so much, bestie, wherever you're listening right now. At home, at work, doing grocery shopping, taking care of the kids, sitting down on the couch, whatever you're doing right now. I just hope that you are good. I just hope that life is treating you well. And if it's not and things are not okay, remember, bestie, what I always tell you. It's okay as long as you believe in yourself and you remember that there's always another day to make things right. That is right, bestie. And before we continue with all of this discussion and gossips that we're going to be going through, well, first of all, make sure that you're following us in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review and share this episode if you love this episode and all other episodes that you haven't listened to. Listen to them and share them to all your friends, colleagues, family members so that they can listen to this podcast and know this is not just for healthcare, it's for everyone who needs therapy. That is right, bestie. And also, bestie, if you didn't know, I also have my first ever skincare brand. It's called Philly Skin, F-I-L-I Skin, Philly as in Filipino, duh. And my first ever product is an under eye serum for all those dark circles. Because bestie, what is our biggest insecurity when it comes to working long hour shift? Dark circles. That's right, bestie. And with this Philly under eye serum, it will target not just the dark circles in your eyes, but also wrinkles, crow's feet, smoothing it and makes it bright. Because bestie, self-care is self-love. That is right, bestie. So get your first ever Philly Skin at www.phillyskin.com so you can try it and tag me on any of your social media so I can repost it and I can see the results and you tell me if it's working for you. Because bestie, for me, it has been working. We were working on this skincare for so long, formulating it to the best of the ingredients so that it can gives you the best result possible. So again, get your Philly Skin at www.phillyskin.com. And also, bestie, if you didn't know, your bestie is currently on the road touring for my first ever comedy tour, the Short Staff Tour, leg 2 this time, shifts getting real. And if you haven't purchased your ticket for yourself, for your besties, for your family members, for your partner, it's time to get there now, bestie. Get them at www.nursejohnshows.com. This whole show is not just for healthcare workers, it's for anyone who's burnt out, who works in customer service, who just needs a laugh, and people who just want to have a good time. That is right, bestie. I will make sure to make you laugh for a night, forget all your problems and all the shit that you've been going through, or we can just relate with each other and laugh from all the shit that we go through the same way together. Oh my God. Anyway, bestie, apart from that, if you're also wondering what kind of scrubs I wear, it's Guard Malad, GARDEMALADE. That's Guard Malad. You can also use my discount code. It's Nurse John GM, NURSEJOHNGM. If you wanted to get a discount when you get your pairs of my favorite scrubs and the only scrubs I wear, that is Guard Malad. All right, bestie, apart from all of those stuff, I am so happy to be back here with you guys, having a conversation again, chatting with you guys, and know that so many has happened this past few weeks. First of all, let's talk about plane situation. I am so damn scared flying, and I have been flying so many times every single week to different places, and all of this plane crashes has just been a mess and it's giving me so much more anxiety. And I don't know if this is just another distraction from all the things that's happening in the world right now. But like for some reason, like every single week, there's another plane crash or plane situation that's been happening. But a pilot told me once that, like, listen, this always happens. It's just so weird that now they're broadcasting this like it's an everyday thing. But they're saying how like flying is still the best and safest way to go to places. That's all I know. But still, I have anxiety of like flying because of all this crazy stuff. And so, like, I pray every time I get into a plane because I was like, please, I just want to make it to a theater near my bestie so I can perform for them. But also, like, I just want to be safe and I don't want to die on a plane because that would be the worst thing ever. I think the last thing I want in my head before I die is knowing that my plane is crashing. Yeah, no. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Anyways, Bessie, this week's topic is share your most awkward experience that you will never forget in your healthcare job. So you guys have all submitted different life stories of your most awkward moment in healthcare or in your job. And I'm going to be reading that to you. So get ready, get your coffee ready, get your medication taken, drink some wine or drink that coffee, and let's get into this. All right, you guys, our first submission. In the early 90s, I was still working in a urology office. The doctor told me to go to room number 3 and prep the patient for cystoscopy. As I entered the room and closed the door, before I turned to face the patient, the doctor pulled the door shut tight and started laughing. So I knew there was to be a joke on me, but didn't know what the joke was. I turned to face the patient and he was butt naked on the exam table, arms behind his head, with the biggest, hardest erection I had ever seen in my life. Sticking straight up. I don't know how I kept my composure, but I did and got him ready anyway. I kept my eyes above him so I couldn't see it or I will start laughing. When the doctor came in the room, they both started laughing at me and he said he has a rigid panel implant and they put it up to see what I would do. That is insane, you guys. To pull a prank on someone like that is insane. I would never work with this doctor again. I'm kidding. But like, this is so awkward, you guys. I mean, like, I have had situation in my career as a nurse where, like, let's say I was visiting my patient like early in the morning. And for men, usually like early in the morning, you get boners. I don't know if someone can explain that to us, like why, or to me, like why men get boners early in the morning for some reason. Anyways, I have had those situations where like patient literally has an erection. Sometimes like you have to check their catheter or like everything else that's like surrounding their groin area. And when you do and they have an erection, it's just so awkward because you don't know how to react in that very situation. And so you just proceed and like force yourself not to laugh in that situation. Otherwise, it's going to be just such an awkward like, you know, conversation and moment with that patient. But that is so awkward and funny. Next. I was a nursing assistant for 3 years on a med-surg floor. I regularly took care of a C. diff patient, most who were incontinent, so a lot of changing and turning all day long. Well, one day I had tacos for lunch. This doesn't sound good anymore. My stomach didn't care for this. I had tooth. It is what it is. Didn't think anyone would notice, you know? Well, while I was changing a man, he stopped, grabbed my wrist, and said, "What died?" We had a really good laugh, and I realized maybe I just have to hold those toots in from now on. Law, it's still such a funny memory. I swear, God, sometimes you guys, I just had to let go of some of the most diabolical, toxic farts in front of my patient because sometimes they're sedated. You know what I mean? Like, please, bestie, you're lying if you've never blamed your patient from a fart that came from you and not from them. You're, and my reasoning to letting go a fart in a specific patient room is like, I was like, listen, it already smells like that in here anyways. So why not? But it's just so awkward. Next. Literally this morning at the clinic, there was a patient that started jumping while getting eye surgery, and he had to be held down by four people. By the end of it, the MA and the nurse were holding hands and thought they were holding the patient's hand. And this is what you call trauma bonding. That is so funny. And that's when they became best friends. And that's when they survived each shift together. Period. And honestly, that's how you make friends in healthcare. You guys just through so much shit together that, let's say, even though you guys hated each other from the beginning, or like didn't like each other, or never spoke to each other from the beginning of your careers, and you just happen to have a shitty fucking shift together, and all you guys can do was team up and do it together, you get to like that other person. You get to hang out with that person and know that that person is an OG, and that person is someone you can count on to, and someone you can get mimosa after a crazy, chaotic, shitty shift. And that's how we actually make friends in healthcare. That's why I don't believe when people are like, oh, you cannot be friends with people at work. I was like, bro, I see these people more than I see my friends and family. So yes, I think we will be friends, like forcefully. And honestly, like I've made some really good friends in my career in nursing, and I have these memories of us going through some tough times together, and that will be forever like the funnest way to like remember those moments with those people. Next. Many years ago, working in LTC long-term care, I was adjusting a foot pedal on a resident wheelchair when they decided to kick at me. Well, they made contact with my shin, only lightly, mind you, but it was enough force for their diabetic gangrenous big toe to fall into my shoes. Oh my God. That is the most awkward and that's a karma for you, bitch, kind of situation. Like, holy shit. Imagine your patient just kicking you and their fucking toe falls off. I don't even know what to do in that situation. I'm probably gonna be like, oh, are you supposed to apologize to them for losing that toe? I mean, I would not even, because I was like, first of all, bitch, you literally just hit me. That's abuse. And now you're suffering from that abuse because you lost your only living foot. Oh, it's not living anymore because it's gangrenous, but like your only existing one. Period. Oh my God, did you pick it up, Af? I mean, yes, you did, but like, that must be so awkward. Like, what did he say? He must be so pissed, like extra pissed already, because not only he hit you very lightly and it didn't like pain you, but at the same time they lost that toe. I cannot imagine this. Oh my God. I was working on a medical unit at a hospital. I was helping another nurse with their patient. One room rang their call bell, so I went to check on them. There was a middle-aged lady and her father laying in the bed, clearly at end of life. I held the father's hand and laid eyes on him to make sure he was okay. I explained to the daughter that sometimes breathing slowed down and people don't move much towards ends of life. I also asked if I could bring her anything. She stated no, that's okay. Dad has been deceased for almost 2 hours. Oh my God. She was just lying in there with the dad. I mean, awkward. Yeah, that is absolutely awkward. I mean, yeah, you basically like explain a bunch of shit she didn't have to know anymore because the dad has been gone for a while. 2 hours. I mean, yeah, I probably wouldn't be back at that room anymore because I would be so embarrassed in my whole life. Oh my God. Yep. Rip. Literally. Next, I don't know if this is just for nurses or for everyone, but when I was a preschool teacher, listen, teachers, social workers, and nurses are triplets, born together, separated at birth, had the same fate. Shitty fucking jobs. So yes, you are part of us healthcare. Okay, teachers, we love you guys so much. Thank you for all that you do. But when I was a preschool teacher, I got a Christmas gift from a parent and the child decided to slip in a little something extra he found in his mother's bedroom. Giving it back to her was quite interesting. Don't. Oh my god, what was it? A condom? A dildo? A vibrator? That is the most awkward shit ever. Listen, moms, dads, hide your toys from your kids. Hide them, lock them away because these kids are innocent. They don't know what they're doing. They just want toys. And if they see something vibrate, oh God. Yep, that is the most awkward shit ever. Like, imagine giving the mom her vibrator back. I'll probably be like, hey, I have the same one. Um, just to make it less awkward for them. Probably. Oh my God. Next, new grad working license spending at a nursing home. Had an old guy who loved to put newbies to the test. Put on his call light and went to see what he needed, and he flips the cover back and show me his erection and say, "What are you going to do about that?" I blushed from my head to my toes. Then I saw the tissue box of a corner of my eyes on his bedside table. So I quickly grabbed the tissue box, plopped it on his chest, pulled the drape around his bed, and told him to call me when he's done. No, not you. Not you. Like giving him the chance to do what he's not supposed to do. No, you're not supposed to give him tissue and ask him to do what he's probably not planning to do. That's not what he was trying to make you see or experience. No, he's not masturbating in front of you. Oh my God, that's so funny. That is the most awkward shit ever. I mean, like, honestly, these older people are so horny. Sometimes they be saying things to you like, oh my God, you have the juiciest ass. Like an 80-year-old lady told me that. And I was like, thank you. But okay. I don't need that comment from you, okay? I'm your nurse. You're my patient. We're not doing this. Next, my very first job in healthcare years ago, I was working in an orthopedic group. I normally work in the back, but the front needed help as they were short staffed. Wow, surprise! I answered a call and it was a family member of a patient. The family was calling to inform us that the patient had passed away. The patient had an upcoming appointment. I gave the family my condolences and then I proceed to ask, would you like me to go ahead and cancel this upcoming appointment? No, bitch. You don't have to cancel anything. The man's life was canceled already. Am I supposed to even say that? Like, what? That is so awkward. Like, duh, of course. Cancel the appointment. They passed away. Of course, the patient isn't making it to the appointment next week. I couldn't believe I asked that. And listen, you might be just so tired and you probably had one brain cells and that's totally fine. But yes, please cancel the next appointment. Oh my God, that is so awkward. Next, I asked a female patient one time if she brought her sister with her while pointing to the other female in the room. The patient quickly responded with, "She's my wife." I have never made assumptions about who is in the room since then. From then on, it was, "Who do you have with you today?" That is right. Because honestly, guys, you'll be shocked at the things that they will respond to you or like the relationship of your patient and that visitor. So just never assume. Just like ask them like, "Hey, what's your relationship with my patient?" And that's the best way you could handle it. And you'll still be shocked, okay? But at least it was not an assumption from you. One day I was taking care of a patient in ICU and he was a bit confused. Or as the nurses on our floor would say, NQR, which stood for not quite right. He had a visitor in the room when I asked him if there was anything I could do for him before I left. He told me he would feel better if he could put his feet on my shoulder. What? Needless to say, that didn't happen. I mean, what? Some some patients are so weird, man. They ask you for the weirdest freaking request, and you're just like, let's not. Like, I'm not doing that for you. I'm not getting paid enough for this, okay? Already, I don't have time for shit, and you're asking me for some weird ass freaking thing. Absolutely not. Next, I was a new grad in L&D and learning to circulate for C-section. I had to scrub the patient's abdomen with betadine. The betadine wouldn't come out of the bottle, so I looked inside it and squeezed. It came out all right in my face. It was everywhere. One of the attendings just looked at me and then rolled his eyes. I was so embarrassed. First of all, I'm so sorry, Debbie. It's giving very new grad, very traumatizing. But I didn't like that the one of the attendings rolled his eyes because like we all make mistakes, and I'm pretty sure that attending has had made many mistakes in his career or her career, and they better not freaking shame you for that. Next, widow here. Starting my shift and in a great mood. See police officer co-worker yell out down the hall, damn, I'd hit that. Dead silence. Knowing full well he is married and he being as hot as he is, I would never have a chance. We are good friends and I meant no disrespect, but oh my freaking gosh. I was embarrassed. He laughed, turned red, and went on with his business, and I nearly died. Never spoke of it again, and we continued our friendship. So widow fury is real, and keep yourself in check. Damn. I mean, y'all always fall for the piece of nursing, for all the toxic. And again, you don't date no policeman, no firefighters, no paramedics, no physicians, no transporters, no military. You guys, those are not good fit for us, you guys. Those are toxic people. And I'm not saying they're toxic people, but like two healthcare together is toxic. Again, that's not love. That's trauma bonding, period. You don't. But yes, they are hot. Police officers are hot. Paramedics are hot. Firefighters are hot. Damn. They got them juicy ears or something. Next, I work in a manufacturing, and 4 years ago, there was this guy first day on the job. He was really anxious. He was responsible for stocking up the assembly line that I work at that time. Throughout the day, he was sweating like crazy and he was shaking really bad. He was asked if he was okay and he was saying, yeah, I'm fine, but was always sounding like he was out of breath. Well, as he was turning away from the assembly line towards the stock room, the whole ass end of his pant was brown. So I went up to him and was hit with a shitty smell that could what? Rival my 3-year-old son. I said to the guy, you okay? Because you just shit yourself. He turned to me and was crying, ran up to HR, and never come back after his first day. Oh my God. He was probably so nervous. He was probably having a hard time and like he shot himself. Oh my God. I mean, like I've shot myself when I was like 18, I think. I was in the bus, but not because of nervousness, just because like there is no stop in the bus and I'm a people pleaser and I don't want to bother other people. So like I literally shot myself and it was the worst thing ever because people can smell it, I know. And that was the most awkward, most embarrassing situation I've ever been. But like poor guy, he quit after too. Oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, that was really freaking awkward. I would not know what to do either in that situation. I would probably again leave the country, find another place that I could live at, rebrand because I don't want people knowing what just happened to me in that workplace. Next, that would be when my organic brain syndrome patient forgot to flush the toilet. I reminded him he needed to flush. He smiled, squeezed my boob, and made a flushing sound. You guys, that is assault. That's not funny. But that is actually funny, but that's not funny because that is assault. Patient cannot just grab your private parts and make a flushing sound out of it. That is insane. Did you like... But that's not funny, you guys. Kim, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I hope you reported that patient because that's not good. That's not right. Next, I was a fresh new grad in the late 1980s. Oh my God. We got ourselves some boomies in here. The day nurse reported to me that Mr. X was scheduled for a right inguinal hernia repair the next morning. I was to shave the area really well as the surgeon was very particular. I go and introduce myself and explain I needed to shave that area. As I pulled the blankets back, I see that the man is very hairy. So it took a considerable time to shave him. But I did a very good job and was very, very proud of myself. The next day, as I come on an evening shift, the day staff are laughing so hard at me. They inform me that Mr. X was scheduled for an umbilical hernia repair. Umbilical hernia repair? That is so funny. And they question why I shave his whole right side from mid-abdomen to upper thigh and pubic area. Well, I never heard the last of that. During the Christmas party, the same surgeon sang a song about how I shaved the wrong area. That is so funny. That's why it's important that you guys listen to report and confirm again confirm it with someone, repeat the same thing that you just got as an information and make sure that it's the right one, because that's a problem in healthcare, is that you will always make a mistake in healthcare, and the last thing you want is to harm someone. This did not harm that person, but I'm talking about like in situations where it includes like medications and stuff like that. You have to be really careful. You need someone as a witness. You need to make sure that it's the right dosage, right medication, right patient, right time. All of this is very, very important. That's why it was taught and was pushed to us during nursing school, because this will save you, someone else's lives, and your license too. Next, walking into a couple room while they were getting busy. Apparently, doggy style is the last strenuous position. Still can see it in my head. Oh my God. I don't understand why people would choose to have hex in the goddamn hospital where people have died, people are suffering, people are quiet, people needs to have peace. And y'all decided you're gonna F in the goddamn room. Like, please, y'all gotta stop having hex in the hospital. And like, that's the most awkward shit we could ever oh my God, imagine and see as providers. It's like, I am not gonna go back to your room because I will document that shit and make sure y'all don't see each other anymore until like the patient is discharged, because that is just insane to me. Next, I used to work at an inpatient hospice unit. I frequently saw spirits go past the desk when a patient death was imminent. One day though, a white figure stopped at the desk and just stayed there watching me as I charted. That was an eerie feeling. Okay, this is not awkward. This is scary as fuck. I mean, oh my God. This is what hospice nurses do. Do hospice nurses really do have like third eye? Like, do you guys all see like, oh my God, I cannot work in hospice. It's just so sad. And I know like the hospice nurses are going to be like, no, it's not sad. It's like the happiest part of their life where they can enjoy everything and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, I'm a lifesaver, okay? I'm not a life taker. Ooh, I'm kidding. But like, I rather like save lives. And I know you guys are saving their lives too from like suffering and stuff like that. But I just can't like, I'm just going to feed my patient pizza because it's their last wish before they die. Like for me, that's too much. Like I don't like that part of nursing. That's why I stay in surgery. I stay in chaos. I don't want nothing like that. But that is scary, not awkward. That's, yeah, awkwardly scary. Period. There you go. Next. After weight loss surgery, I dropped 150 pounds. I was happy to be wearing scrubs I had purchased several years earlier. They just didn't feel right at my previous weight. I was walking toward a male coworker who was walking towards me when I felt a breeze. I feel like I already know this. His eyes bug out and his jaw fell to his chest. My pants had fallen to my ankles. Fortunately, losing weight also made me colder, and I was wearing tights under my scrubs. The next day, my husband took all my scrub pants and used a sewing machine to put darts in the waistband. First of all, congratulations for losing 150 pounds. But secondly, you're probably going to have to change your closet or find something that fits you well before that happens again, because I wouldn't want to see my patient naked. You guys, my last request is that if I am ever in a emergency situation, my only request is please bring me in a hospital where I don't have any coworkers or nobody knows me. Because the last thing I want is my coworkers seeing my genitalia or them touching me or anything like that. Please, I work with these people already too much, and the last thing I want is for them to see me naked or anything else. That's my last request, okay? Next. When I was a baby nurse, I had to give a patient an IM injection, intramuscular injection in her glute. As I was coming down with a needle, she yells at me to stop and proceed to ask me to smack her booty first before she asked you to smack her booty first because it desensitizes it and make it not hurt as bad. Me being naive and not really knowing what to do in this situation, I oblige. 18 years later, that still haunts me. You smack the patient's booty as a request. I mean, like, I cannot blame you. See, the stuff we do for the people that we care about, you guys, we would literally go above and beyond. We would even smack your booty if that helps you feel better about getting an intramuscular medication. That is insane. I would never smack my patient's booty, okay? Like, but I'm sorry. This is so awkward. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. Next, this guy had a very dry and flaky skin. I walked in and the skin was all over the floor. I didn't realize it was skin and I said, "Oh my, you have been snacking on here. Look at the crumbs on the floor." Baby, that is not crumbs. That is snowflakes. Actually, grated Parmesan cheese. That ew, that is so nasty. That is my biggest ick in healthcare. Snowflakes, like Parmesan cheese, like dead skin flakes. Oh my god. Ugh. Like I can't handle it. Like it's so nasty. And like one deep breath from your nose, one inhale, bitch, you will take at least like 10 pounds of that shit in your nose and it's in your body. Now you have pneumonia. I promise you, that is the most insane shit ever. Next, I had a patient come up the nursing station to drop off a GBS swab for another nurse and inform me it was uncomfortable. Look at the swab to realize she hadn't removed the cap of the tube. Oh my god! It had shoved the whole tube and a cap up her vagina and anus. Tossed that one in the garbage and get her a new one and showed her the Q-tip, like swab part she should use. The look on her face was priceless. I even managed to not break down laughing till after she was gone. I mean, some people, you give them the basic instruction and they still don't follow what you say. And they be like, damn, this is not working. I was like, baby, did you follow what I just told you? Did you follow the instruction that was just given to you? Some people are just very, very slow. But for this reason, I think she just didn't know. But like, yeah, that would literally hurt if she did not remove the cap because that cap is like full on plastic. Oh my God. Next, I greeted an animal owner and said, I will be there in 5 minutes. I'm shortly going to the toilet. Was inside of the owner, that's why I told her and had no time in like 2 hours that I already needed to go. She started screaming that I had to get her dog first. She then had like 1,000 questions post up and I almost peed my pants. When she was gone, I was like ugly crying on the toilet because that is how we are these days to one another. I hate it. See? And this is why I talk about self-care is self-love. You prioritize yourself. Leave this freaking people screaming. Listen, they're not even supposed to scream. Patient don't have the rights to scream at you, to abuse you, or to threaten you. That's not something that they should be doing because they don't have that right. I am not getting paid enough for this shit and I am not dealing with this shit. And you just went above and beyond for this person. And oh my God. Next. Taking care of an elderly patient, wiping her bottom, I thought there was a bit of poo stuck. Started tugging. The poor woman shrieked, "That's my pile." Oh my God. Holy shit. What a day that was. Lovely lady when you're not pulling piles out of her bum. Obviously apologized profusely and all was forgiven after I did her lunch and a good brew. Oh my God. You were tugging on her cooch. Baby, that must have hurt. But, I mean, awkward. Next, when I was a student nurse, I was showering an elderly gentleman and his testicles slipped down through the holes slit in the shower chair and became stuck. They do not teach you how to extricate slippery balls from plastic chairs at nursing school. I was horrified at that time trying to negotiate our predicament without asking for help and looking like a complete tool and trying to maintain this poor bloke's dignity. It's a story I now tell my students in which they find great joy. I mean, you're right. That's why I tell people nursing school lied to us. Because you know why? There's so many stuff that you're going to experience and only will experience when you start working in the floor and as a nurse. Because a lot of the stuff that you read in the books are just basic shit. I promise you, the real life only happens during your career in nursing. And that is very awkward. Yeah, oh my God. And you're a nursing clinical instructor. Cheers, twins. Next, putting a Foley in my hubby's best friend's dad. Yep, that's absolutely awkward. And I don't think I would do that. I would be like, this is a conflict of interest. Please find another nurse to do this situation because I don't want to be doing that to my, yeah, hubby's best friend. Absolutely not. Next, was taking care of someone who was considered hospice care. Cancer everywhere. They were telling me a story and was frustrated they couldn't remember part of it. The vibes were good, family and patient were cool and funny, and I laughed it all and said, "It's okay, haha, I call that some timer." Deadpan looked me in the face and said, "I call it brain meds." That is so awkward. I would not know what to respond on that. Oh my God. Not them were saying brain meds. I'll be like, yeah. Yeah. Awkward. Next, I was helping another nurse turn an elderly man who was contractured. He called me over to the bedside to ask me to ask his nurse to please come when he calls. His last ounce of dignity was that he wanted to use the bedpan and not go on his chucks. 2 hours later, I hear the nurse scream. We run in the room only to discover that his nurse, who had apparently not heeded the request, discovered he was forced to do a BM on his chucks, as she didn't heed the call. When the nurse had finally entered his room, he used all of his strength and power to hurl said BM and set it land perfectly in his nurse's face and hair. Dignity restored. First of all, okay, let's debunk this. Very awkward, okay? But first of all, the nurse didn't respect the request of the patient, but the patient didn't have to hurl the goddamn BM to the nurse. That's assault again. You guys, that's not funny. And that is not something to be taken lightly. That has to be taken that needed some real action because that shit's bad. Oh my God, awkward and bad. Next, I was taking care of an obese patient who had just been admitted to us by the ambulance. His phone started to ring and we were checking all his bags and things he came with but couldn't find it. We started to move him from the ambulance gurney to the hospital bed, and when we rolled him to the transfer, his phone popped out on one of his belly folds like a projectile object and shot across the room. What the fuck? Projectile? Like it regurgitated from his belly flaps. Wasn't it like moist, wet? Like wouldn't it be like? Was the phone like water resistant? Like what the fuck? I couldn't. Oh my God. Like that was crazy. Okay, we have 2 last stories. I had a 16-year-old baker act. And when it was time to remove piercing and jewelry, her nails were too long to remove her own cleat piercing. So her mom had to remove it. Mom didn't know she had it. So awkward for both of them. Clit piercing? I mean, I'm not surprised. Listen, I worked in the ER for a bit. And the shit I've seen, and I wasn't even there for long. I do believe there was a clit piercing, and I am not removing that. Somebody gotta do that, and good thing the mom did because that would be awkward. Okay, lastly, dressing old lady's diabetic foot. Gave to a good clean, so good it came clean off into my forceps. Oh, what the fuck? Another diabetic food situation. Newly qualified, I was panicking, covered the forceps and looked for the ward sister. I was mortified. Sister laughed and said, "Well done, dear. You've saved her an anesthetic." That is insane. Oh my God, you guys. These true to life awkward situation stories that you guys submitted are literally insane. I hope you guys had a good laugh with us because that is, oh my God, those awkward situation. Listen, it will haunt you forever in your career and it will be something that you will never forget. You know why? Because it's basically a PTSD situation for you because you will never repeat that thing again. Okay. And I mean, we've all had awkward situation. One thing we have to realize is we are human first, nurse second, and things would just happen. You just have to get through it and maybe quit the job, move to another city, rebrand, like I said, or just accept that and move on, come to the ship the next day and pretend that nothing happened. Because honestly, I think these are the things that will, yes, it causes PTSD, but at the same time, things that we can laugh at when we're feeling down or like going through something in our career. Because honestly, that's how we can bond. And that's why I have my comedy tours because like people would come to the comedy tour, they would listen to all my stories and people are just laughing, even though it's the grossest, shittiest, scariest, funniest situation that ever happened to me. It's because I think in healthcare, the funniest thing in healthcare is that we all share the same experience. Like you cannot have a unique experience in nursing. Honestly, like one nurse with one experience probably was experienced by 200 or 1,000 more nurses because that's why like everywhere in the world nurses just gets it and like that's why like my community grow from more than just North America. It's in Asia, it's in Europe, it's in Australia, it's in everywhere because everyone just relates to the whole situation that we all experience because collectively we are all just underpaid, undervalued, underappreciated, and short staff. That's why you guys, you should definitely come and see me on my tour at the Shortstop Comedy Tour. Shifts getting real. You better get your tickets at www.nursejohnshows.com. And thank you so much, Bessie, for listening to this episode of your favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated nurse, Nurse John, in your favorite therapy podcast. I beg your pardon. Thank you again so much, Bessie, for listening to this episode of the podcast. Make sure that you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Share this episode and make sure that you leave us a 5-star review. And again, Bessie, I will see you once again next week for another week of craziness, of gossip, or fun, sad, angry, scary, anxious, provoking shit that we all experience in healthcare, and we will go through it one coffee at a time. See you, bestie. Love you. Bye.